Yo guys, what is going on? NumbNexus here, bringing you guys another Wi-Fi battle with a really good friend, Callum, also known as HoodlumScrafty. If you don't know who he is by now, the famous guy, his link is down in the description below, but I want to test out his team. His team is not the greatest, but I put in a bunch of stuff together, so it's got a bunch of powerful threats. Oh my lord, the Mega Lucario, the Latios, the Mew, the Landorus Therian form. And when I looked at Callum's team, I only saw one Pokemon that really stood out. And my team has a huge water weakness and dark weakness. And Greninja really does take care of it. But he's got a Sharpedo. And I don't play too well around his Breloom as well. So you're going to see that his Victini does become the MVP. So we're going to get this battle started off nice and strong. Callum's got some nice big threats of his own. So we just want to test out teams. Again, we're just testing out teams. We are just testing out teams, and we did test out the teams before, and they ironically both 3-0'd our opponents, so we decided to try them out on ourselves, but it's not looking like a too good lead for me. He leads up with the Porygon 2, and I'm going to be expecting the Ice Beam, but at the same time, I can't U-turn because he did just go for the Intimidate there, and I am not running any speed investment, so I really have to get out of there. I'm going to come into my Tyranitar, basically to swallow any hit. He does predict that very well, and goes for the Toxic, which is a good play. He figured that the Ice Beam was way too obvious, which is a really good play. Callum has really gotten good in Wi-Fi. Like, he was iffy in 5th gen, but 6th gen really brings out some good competitive battles, and Callum has gotten really good. And you can see that in the midst of this battle. So, my Tyranitar is now crippled, and I really wish that my Tyranitar had Pursuit. This is an in-game. This is a Larvitar that was bred rather than Pokegened. Or Pokebanked, Pokegen, so it's not my Pursuit T-Tar, but I go for the rocks right there, putting them up, and his Victini is now basically withered down, and the sash on his Breloom is potentially broken. I don't even know, other stuff like that, but that's basically, I don't know what to say. I put the rocks up, but now he's gonna go for he's gonna switch out of the Porygon 2, and now he's gonna come out to his Donphan, basically predicting a Stone Edge, Earthquake, a Crunch, which is a good play because I actually do end up going for the Crunch. I did kind of expect his, I kind of expected his Breloom to come in, but that didn't happen, so I didn't want to go for the Earthquake, that's why. So I do get the defensive draw, but I still did not want to stay in. I know he's probably going to want to put up his own rocks, but I wasn't too positive he wanted to just stay in an Earthquake or just Rapid Spin. So I'm more along predicted here on the lines of him Rapid Spinning because he does have a Victini, and his Victini can do work to my team if used in the right way, so I wanted to get out of there and go straight out into my Landorus Therian form, predicting that Rapid Spin to happen. And as you can see, he did tell me he was actually going to Ice Shard predicting that, but he goes for the Stealth Rock instead. So that was a good play. My Landorus is now really crippled by that Stealth Rock. I really just can't keep safely switching and unswitching, so I guess having no Rapid Spinner is really going to bite me back, but I know he's not going to stay in, definitely for a fact, so I'm actually going to go for the U-turn and get myself out of here because I know I don't want to know what's coming in, and most likely the Porygon 2 is coming in. You can get a nice Ice Beam off, so you get to Intimidate off on me, and that Trace is really starting to become a bother, but I actually end up going for the EQ because he did have the defense drop, and I want to see how much damage that does. I am Stab Life Orb. So that did not end up being the case. It does decent damage to the Porygon 2, but I did not want to take a Ice Beam, so I got out of here. This entire time I thought that his Porygon 2 outsped me. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I'm going to switch out of here, go into my Lucario, who is nice and clean shiny. I did not expect the Recover. I more along expected the Toxic, that's why I came to the Lucario right away, but that did not happen. And now he's basically got to bring in somebody to die because you cannot take an Adaptability Close Combat from a Mega Lucario. It is very powerful. As you're going to see, this Mega Lucario is going to do the work to this Donphan. It's going to hurt him up really bad. So as I Mega Evolve, I am going to be doing serious damage to that Donphan. And that Donphan is going to get crapped on. Oh my lord. It just blew up the trunk. Dear lord. That is doing a nice 65%, and that is basically a nice and easy 2 KO. Unfortunately though, my Mega Lucario does not carry Dark Pulse. I did mean to remove Blaze Kick for Dark Pulse, but that didn't happen, and as you're going to see, I don't play with my Mega Lucario to the greatest extent. So, he goes for the Ice Shard trying to get damage, which is completely alright. As I'm not going to go for the close combat, it's going to be able to take out his Dawn fan, so a big wall is out of the way. Now I can freely go for close combats. I don't have to worry about it at all. And that thing looks hilarious when it faints. See, this is exactly why it would bother me the most. I did have the Dark Pulse for that Latias because I am a mixed Lucario, but this is the wrong Lucario. It's my shiny one rather than my regular one, so that did not happen. As I'm going to come out to my T-Tar. He does end up going for the Calm Mind, really bite me back in the ass again. It's not my Pursuit Trapping Tyranitar, it's my regular Tyranitar, and that's really going to end up hurting me the most. It really is. You're going to see at the end of the match, but he goes for the Calm Mind here, expecting me to switch, but he completely forgot that I wall him in each and every way of my T-Tar. So he really doesn't even carry the Surf. So his Latias is still in the midst of being projected on. As I really could have gone for the Pursuit here, but again, I did not carry the Pursuit, so I kind of figured that he just want to come out into anybody really, and getting damage on damage is great. So I was this close on going for the Ice Beam, but I didn't want him to come out into his Porygon, so I went for the Crunch instead, which he does end up coming out to the Porygon, so I went for the Crunch instead. I was really fearing him more along the lines of coming out to his Breloom, that way he could take a Crunch or Earthquake, even a Stone Edge. But that's not the case. I go for the Crunch, and that does decent damage to the Porygon too. It's a crit, so that is understandable. And for a crit, that didn't even do that much, but I'm still happy with it, as I know he's probably just going to want to attack me this turn or go for the Recover. So I actually want to stay in and get a Crunch off. I really should have just saved my T-Tar. I really should have saved my T-Tar because I need my T-Tar mainly as fodder now that he has Rocks up. So he doesn't end up going for the Recover, as I am going to go for the Crunch again. Banking on a defense drop, really. This Porygon 2 is the bane of my existence. I really do not like this thing. It does a lot of work, and it really does push in the work very well. As I'm being withered down, so Porygon 2 in this generation is a monster. I still yet to believe why it is UU, but at the same time I understand why, because Mega Lucario is a thing. So I'm going to switch out of there into the ironically Mega Lucario, as I am expecting him to go for the Thunderbolt or Toxic. I don't know which one he would want to go for. Toxic, but he may switch out into someone else, but he doesn't go for the Thunderbolt, as that is decent damage. It is way more than I was expecting. A lot more than I was expecting, as he thought it was a better play to sack it off, which actually was. So I'm going to go for the close combat, and it's going to be able to knock out that Porygon 2. And now both of his walls are gone. He does now have a bulky Latias, which is really the only closest thing to a wall that he has. Otherwise, his wall's down. And I really need my Mega Lucario for the Sharpedo if he doesn't have the Earthquake. Now here is a huge play. I expected him to go for the Spore, but it did not happen, and he goes for the Mach Punch instead. And that is going to be huge. That was a huge play. I could have came out to my Landorus. I should have just came out to the T-Tar as fodder. I really should have came to the T-Tar as fodder, but it did not happen. As here's another dumb play that I made coming out to the Mew. And that is really going to bite me, because I go for the Aura Sphere expecting his Sharpedo. His Sharpedo is a huge threat to my team. I did not want to handle that one-on-one, as he now goes for the Spore. And my Mew being asleep is the biggest loss for me in this entire match. That really did bite me back. My Mew being asleep really did just confirm him on winning the game, because I needed my Mew for his Victini as well. And I don't know, my Mew is just, I needed my Mew. But now I come out to the Landorus here again, and I don't know why I didn't just come out to the Skarmory. But he goes to the Rock Tomb, predicting that and Skarmory, so that was a good play. He did tell me to pull the Nexus move, because he's really never seen anybody else use Rock Tomb on Breloom besides me. So he's going to go for the Bullet Seed, and it's going to be doing a lot of damage. Technician Bullet Seed is nothing to be sleeping on. Good lord, even after the Intimidate drop. As I go for the U-turn here, I am able to knock it out, but I did just make horribly crucial plays, and it really confirmed him the deal. So my Mew being put to sleep and me coming out to my Landorus really boned me back very bad, because now I can only live one more Stealth Rock switch in, and I don't know how that's gonna go. As I now come out to my T-Tar here just to get the sand up. I really should have just sacked off this T-Tar. I did not need it at all. But as you're going to see now, this gives him a nice opening for his Sharpedo, which is the biggest threat. Literally, Sharpedo has been giving me a heart attack just looking at it, because he's a speed boost Sharpedo. and I don't want to take this thing on one-on-one because I really don't have anything for it besides my Mew. I could live a crunch from that because I am bulky Mew, so I can live a crunch, and I do have the Aura Sphere, and that really did end up biting back. I should have just gone for the side shock on the balloon, and if he would have came up to the Sharpedo, that would have been fine. I could have taken a hit and gone for the Aura Sphere, but I don't know why I didn't. I really don't know why I didn't. I guess the fear of Sharpedo was really biting me back, and that's going to really benefit him to the highest extent, as I'm not going to come out here into my Landorus basically just to get the Intimidate drop. I cannot do a thing. Again, I probably should have kept my Landorus around for the Victini, but again, we are just testing team, so it's nothing to be shy about, and also Callum's a good player, so it's alright. As he goes for the crunch, he's going to be able to knock me out, and he expected the Skarmory, so I went for the crunch, but that's alright. I'm assuming that he expected the Skarmory because Dark is not neutral to Steel. So now with all the speed boost up, that Sharpedo is horribly fast. You only need one speed boost to be at like 417 speed, which should outspeed most things that are not Scarfed, as I am just going to go for the Brave Bird rather than the Whirlwind, because that is a very big threat, and I was really fearing if he was going to flinch me or not, but that did not happen, as I'm going to go for the Brave Bird. It's going to be able to knock out that Sharpedo, since Sharpedo really is horribly frail. Ironically, Torpedoes are actually quite hard-shelled, yet he's really frail. I don't understand the logic in that, but Pokemon logic, you know, what can you do? So I get the damage from the recoil. Now, I know the Victini is coming my way, and this entire time that I told him that I could live a V-Create, but then he told me he was Choice Banded, and all of that just fell. All of that just fell. The Victini coming in clean for the V-Create. You don't flex on Victini, and I clearly flexed on Victini, so that is going to be able to knock out my Skarmory, but at least he gets the speed drop, so I should be okay. Now, here is another turning point on why me not having Pursuit on my Tyranitar is really going to end up biting back in the ass, as you're going to see here. The Sandstorm is gone, but I'm going to come out to my Latios here, and I thought to myself, hey, wait a minute, I should be okay. I'm going to predict him to come out into the Latias because I know the Surf is way too obvious, and I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse. Now, the Dragon Pulse is going to do a 2-hit KO on the Latias, so I was sitting completely firm and fine. Now, what's going to end up really mattering is, see, it didn't kill right away because Latias is very bulky, but if I would have taken this thing out earlier, I could have locked myself into Surf, and I would have been able to cleanly win the game, and I would have been able to destroy his Victini, but his Victini is somehow miraculously going to live the Stealth Rock switch. It's going to, not that, but Stealth Rock does do good damage to it, but he's gonna be able to live this Dragon Pulse. I don't know how. I am modest Scarf, but he lives it with 2 hit points. Absolutely 2 hit points. Goes for the U-turn. He is a Choice Band. It's gonna be able to knock me out, and all I have left now is my Mew, and I really needed my Mew to be awake. And as you're going to see, my Mew is actually going to be able to live this U-turn from the Victini. There is no stabs, I'm assuming that's why. But he's going to be able to live that, and I'm assuming he's Jolly as well, but I'm going to be able to live that. And I really needed to wake up this turn in order to win. I do carry the Dark Pulse. If I would have woken up, that thing would have died. If I would have gone for any move, that thing would have died. But no, unfortunately, I stay asleep, and that's why it's going to bite me back in the ass, because my Mew being put to sleep was the biggest turning point in my life. And Callum is going to be able to win this game with the very narrow 1-0 victory. The 2 hit point Victini doing the work. And that's going to be all. So if you guys enjoyed that, make sure to leave that huge thumbs up. Make sure to go check out Callum's channel. He'll also be uploaded from his side, from his perspective. And until next time, guys, I will catch you all later.